bodies, time to hero up!
Marvel animation has been hit or miss over the years. Sometimes they can create iconic projects, sometimes they are one of a kind and are hard to replicate, and sometimes they are just straight up bad and lazily put together. The point I'm trying to make is that Marvel's animated projects can be hit or miss a lot of the time, with varying degrees of quality. However, there's one thing all these projects have in common, and this has to do with the tone. Of course, animation, at least in the West, is generally seen as something made for kids. So as a result, most animated projects from Marvel typically are more child-friendly and never dive too deep into darker territory. However, despite the child-friendly nature of Marvel's animated projects, a couple of years ago in 2017, we could have possibly gotten a glimpse at a more adult and mature Marvel TV show, the Deadpool animated series, which was being developed around 2017, with Donald Glover and his brother Stephen Glover being involved creatively and set to air on the FX network. However, partly due to Marvel having a problem with the vision for the series, the show would be cancelled, and we're yet to see any form of a series revival. So let's briefly discuss the history of the Deadpool animated series and its eventual cancellation. Before we start, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and like the video, and be sure to follow me on Twitter. Anyways, let's get started.
Wow, look at that. Could you give me a hand? I'm kidding. All right, I'll go get it.
Deadpool is without a doubt one of the most popular Marvel characters to exist. However, one crucial difference between him and other characters from his universe is both his ability to break the fourth wall and just how much more vulgar and adult his stories are.
There we go. Now we're talking. Much more realistic.
This unique distinction is what helped the character stand out. However, it's questionable to say that the character had mainstream popularity. Deadpool had limited appearances in animation and had his own video game that no one remembers. That's a hill I'm gonna die on. The thing about Deadpool is that although unique, is very hard to get right when adapted. You have to make him funny, but you can't make him too annoying. And the whole fourth wall breaking part of his character can become a gimmick if overdone, like in that Deadpool game. It wasn't until Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool movie, released in 2016, that the character became a household name. The movie was a massive hit at the box office, and for the longest time, it was the highest grossing R-rated film. That doesn't even account for the plethora of ad campaigns from Ryan Reynolds that was made for the movie. And clearly the actor's whole identity revolves around this character. My point is that Deadpool was more popular than ever from the period of 2016 to 2018. And of course, seeing the popularity of the character, it was only a matter of time until a company tried to capitalize off that success through other forms of media, specifically TV. The Deadpool series first came into existence back in 2017 after the partnership between Marvel Television and FX Productions when they made the X-Men spin-off Legion. A year after FX president John Landgraf discussed plans to produce more adult-oriented animated shows, Marvel approached him with an idea. You see, the executives at Marvel Television were big fans of the animated series Archer, so when they learned that John was looking to make more adult animated shows, Marvel Television decided that Deadpool was the perfect character to make a series out of. John Landgraf loved the idea and decided to approach Donald Glover and his brother Stephen Glover to develop the series. Donald was already well acquainted with Marvel and FX, so he seemed like the perfect choice to work on the show. According to John Landgraf, the series would feel different from the other iterations and was distinctly unique from the one in the movies. The series would be produced by Marvel Television, FX Productions, and ABC's Signature Studios, with Marvel's Jeff Loeb and Jim Chory serving as producers for the series. The series was rumored to be titled Deadpool, the Animated Series, and 10 episodes were to air in 2018. I can't speak much about how the series could have been structured in terms of writing and even humor. I've never seen anything Donald Glover has written besides This Is America, so in terms of how Deadpool would have been portrayed in comparison to the comics is completely unknown to me. But we do have a rough idea on how the humor or characterization of Deadpool would have been like. For one thing, according to Donald Glover, in his fake Deadpool script he released after the cancellation of the series, the show had an all-black writing team, and thus many references in the series were pretty black as well. So evidently the Deadpool series may have been used as a mouthpiece for black culture, but also at the same time would reference other pieces of pop culture and make fun of our current world in general. The script Donald Glover released after the show's cancellation is not representative of the actual series, but may have indicated the type of humor Donald was going for, with tons of references to our modern world like Bitcoin and Fortnite. The best example of these pop culture references was an episode that revolved around Taylor Swift, which was described as hilarious but also a step too far in the eyes of Marvel Television. According to Stephen Glover, they wanted to give Rick and Morty a run for their money, so that may indicate that the series had a similar type of crude humor. In terms of animation quality, there was an animation test that was leaked by Studio Titmouse after the series was cancelled. Perhaps it was their attempt to get the show revived, similar to the Tim Miller Deadpool test footage. The Titmouse animation for Deadpool is visually vibrant. Deadpool moves around in an acrobatic and stylish fashion. Unique visual effects are placed in for impact, and the overall character designs are both exaggerated and cartoony, but with an overt violence that heavily contrasts with the more kid-friendly look. Visually, the show looked similar to other stylistic animated works like Black Dynamite and even Motor City, which to this day remain one of the best looking and stylistic animated shows, at least within the West. It's important to know that Titmouse was never officially animating the series. In fact, this animation test was simply a part of a pitch to FX and Marvel Television, so they could spearhead the production of the series animation. However, Titmouse would unfortunately not animate the series, as FX would instead go for a new studio, Floyd County Productions, who are primarily known for animating the series Archer. So it's clear that the Deadpool show may have shared a similar animation style. There was only one glimpse at the Deadpool show, which was presented at the Television Critics Association, which apparently showed Deadpool jump onto a moving car. But as far as we are aware, the clip has never been released publicly. This Deadpool show would eventually be cancelled by Marvel. According to FX, the series was cancelled due to creative differences. Apparently, Marvel did not like Glover's vision for the project, especially the humor, and decided to part ways. Donald Glover has went on to jokingly question if racism may have played a part in the series getting cancelled. Donald Glover would go on to state that people always want something different, but aren't willing to do something different to achieve it. So whatever Donald was doing with the Deadpool show, in terms of commentary or humor, it was clearly something that Marvel felt uncomfortable with and decided to not move forward with this project.